chained bodies found in deep water spark questions. If you're looking for a bright and intriguing article to lighten up your day and add a little spice and curiosity to your routine, you've landed at just the right place. Our story is about a very unexpected, even horrifying, discovery that these divers bumped into during one of their fun dives exploring the dark depth of the ocean. As you may know if you are a fan of adventure and discovery like us, there is quite a number of videos and articles all over the internet about people exploring volcanoes, deep jungles, and even the dark depths of the ocean. While many of us would never think of putting ourselves at such a risk for nothing but the sake of seeing what possible treasures can be discovered and new places can be discovered. Adventurers don't see risking their lives for the sake of discovery worthless, and most of the time they are right. The findings actually make the risk involved more than worth it, however. Other times findings only make you wish that risk was all that you had to be worried about, as some discoveries can be quite haunting and scary. The team of divers we are featuring in this story definitely wished the risk they took was the only thing they needed to worry about, as they can probably never unsee what they came across in a pure unlucky finding. The Great Blue Hole, located off the coast of Bleeds, is one of the world's largest ocean sinkholes that have been found and assessed. It measures approximately 1,000 feet across and is about 400 feet in depth. The sinkhole has lately become an extremely popular diving site for many diving amateurs and professionals. Even though the sinkhole was known to the world, its internal structure features at the very bottom were still a mystery that was only uncovered in December 2018, when an expedition into the Great Blue Hole took place. The Great Blue Hole is not only mesmerizing to look at, but it's also dangerous. At a certain point deep enough in the Great Blue Hole, there is zero oxygen, which means that there could absolutely be no sign of life there, and nothing can survive from that point down. This particular point in the hole is also a spot where many divers have gone missing, as most of them weren't even aware that they wouldn't be able to survive there due to the absence of oxygen, which only makes them venture too far down to meet their death. As this expedition driving team kept going deeper, they noticed some strange-looking conch shells. The shells' very presence there was odd, as nothing can survive down there, but the shells themselves looked a little strange when compared to the usual conch shells people are used to seeing. When the team finally reached the bottom, they noticed odd tracks in the sand, all circling each other without a single indication as to what caused them, or who made them if they were deliberate human work. Intrigued but still cautious, the team decided to leave the tracks as found and not alter them in any way near the place the submarine was parked. The dividers came across some marine caves as well, most of which had their roofs collapsed and they couldn't wander in to see what they once harbored. Luckily for them, one cave looked to be still sturdy and in good enough condition and able to be entered. When the team went in, they saw that the cave had many stalactites, some even as big as 40 feet in length. The stalactites formation is due to the slow drips of water and the crystallization of minerals. And since they were already underwater and there was nothing to drip, this only meant that at one point these caves were above water. With another intrigue, the team kept going to see what treasures or horrors they were about to find, and indeed, the further they went inside the caves, the darker it became. The lights they carried didn't have unlimited battery life, so they had to be careful and choose wisely when to use them to make sure they lasted during the entire dive. Everything was going according to plan until they bumped into something. Whatever that was, it blocked their way and they weren't able to continue moving. Since they were now in complete darkness, they decided to turn on one of the lights to see what was in their way, and they all wished they hadn't got them back on, as when they were able to see what it was, their hearts certainly stopped beating for a second. The divers came across what first looked to be a ring of mannequins. Since there was no way mannequins or statues would be there, they just concluded that what they came across were more than likely to be human bodies, as the Great Blue Hole was known for having divers go missing while trying to explore. What happened here is that a big team of divers was exploring together. Then their lights must have run out of battery life, and they just lost their way to the surface, ending up choking to death from lack of oxygen. At this point, the expedition team decided that they had seen enough and it was time to go back to the surface to report their findings. When they arrived back at the surface, the first thing they did was alert the authorities about their horrifying finding. Even though there was no one going to go back down and get the remains, at least the authorities could get an idea of where some of the missing people may be, dead for several months underwater, at the bottom of a lethal sinkhole. Despite the horrors the diving team had come across and the terror they felt when they found the fallen caves and all of those dead bodies, the expedition was a huge success. The divers were finally able to find out what lay at the bottom of the great blue hole that remained a mystery for many years. That expedition was the last planned one, as there is currently no other plan for another expedition to take place. But surely in the near future, scientists will definitely want to have another opportunity to explore other parts down there to uncover what's still left there to find. There are still many parts left to find, including the cave system that collapsed and probably more fascinating remains. Exploring dangerous places sure have their risks, but one of the greatest discoveries have been made through risky endeavors.